Hello Tech Genius, I am Ravi. Have you ever imagined a place where learning is as dynamic as the technology shaping your world? Then here's a deal. With iMatix, you can make sure the learning is exciting, impactful right from the beginning. You have interactive sessions with expert-led courses. In the world of tech, from data science to cloud computing, it's not just about a session, it's about doing, building, learning by solving real problems. So let's get started. We discussed this implicit grant and the talk on about access to account. My encouragement, I'll give you the latest release notes. I guess once we've done this, oh, I did say stuff, right? And I'm preparing the questions list as well as we discussed. I'll share those. I guess I'll share you as a separate PDF. I'll write 2 questions. We have discussed this implicit grant. You understood, right? Implicit grant and authorization grant, why we need to account and everything. The staff, we need to go to the client credential. If I open the, we are discussing the 2 clients and this is the same. I have created my client, my setup, and we discussed this one, right? Grant type and all. We have this device called client credentials. I'll create a new client. First, I'll tell you what's the client credential. Grantees of client credential plant is basically when we used for a like machine to machine communication, right? Where we need to directly obtain access token by like authenticated itself to authentication server, like from one machine to another machine or one server to server we need to authenticate. We can use this client credential grant. And we just for this one, we just without. We don't need a user involvement. We can get the client, I didn't client secret, and can get the client credential work. Can get the obtain the access token for that. If I get any new client, right? A new line, don't just name client secret. This is the hybrid client. No hybrid client. I guess I'll discuss with you again when we went to the oil. This is the hybrid client, but we discussed that when we use the code and ID token together, right? That was the hybrid. What is this one? This is the client credential grant. I show to you client credential, like we have implicit grant and we selecting the grant type, right? When we go to the, when we test it, we select the grant type client credential for that one. It is basically used for the machine to machine communication, or you can say server to server communication. For this one, there is no involvement for the user. We just need a client ID and client secret. To obtain the access token, we show you. I'm just getting a new client for testing. Here I created this one at once. Here's the other one. Here you can see I have different grant types. For this one, I need to select the client credentials. And I will save this one. I have created this new client. I've added the client credential grant. Now I need to create a grant type for this one. I have this client credential created. It will be if I create a new for you, new request, it will be we have to get access token. This one if I get a new request for same right. Like I have already have this one, we need to have a post request. And we need to have this. We'll just remove it. I'll add it in front of you. Access token. And in param I would need only the param I would need the grant type. This grant type I would need. Client credential. Because the grant type we are adding over the client credentials. Here's name is grant table. The authorization, we need to add the basic code. And here my client, my new client, it's in the new name of the client. And what else I need to add? I need to add a client ID. And client secret, I've added scope, right? Let me try it. I guess I have it here. I need to add client. And I go to the name of my client. New client, ID will be, I'll say it will be. New client, right? And my new secret will be I have added. No scope request. No default scope is pointing at some point. I need to scope. I go to the address code. I have their access token. Other times I need to add the authorization code and then I need to get the token right. And implicit, I need to get the access token directly here, this client credential. We just need to give the grant type client credential and we need to select in our both client this client credential. And then we can use this client ID and secret our sense scope. What are the requirements required? And then we can get the access token. All this information, the client credentials to connect. To test the grant type, we test the client credential grant flow like this. This is a curl command, and if you have to run in like any unique setup, you can use this one like that. And this is a video in a Postman, right? Usually it's have good to knowledge to on both, because in Postman if you do it will be the set of commands. It's be ready for any client, you can test it like. But sometimes we may need to test it in a unique directly because in a production setup we can't use Postman, right? They don't allow give services to use those links in a Postman. For that, to get fetch any details or check something, we can use the curl command. This is the curl command which we can use. I have added in the PPT. But this curl command, you can directly create the Postman as well. This is a client credential grant we discussed. Other, we have one more grant. We have the device authorization grant, basically, which is normally known as device flow as well. Here we need to authenticate any devices, right? Like any TV, set-top box, or any streaming radio or any other operating system we need to set up, right? Like we need to authenticate, right? If you check on the Netflix or if you have the Amazon set-top box or any other companies that are both right. When you pull that into the TV, right, they perform such steps internally. They need to authenticate the device like it has been connected to internet and all. You put some username and password over there or something, right? They authenticate it. They need to authenticate the devices. Other grant we use, we see there authenticate the user, authenticate the services. This one is used specifically, created only to authenticate the devices, right? We have this separate code. They will provide the OAuth2 device code. That OAuth2 device code they are provided. This is the endpoint where we created any user or any device for a device authorization. We can use that, right? Like suppose if I create any new client here, like add a new client for my device, like anything like Samsung setup box setup. Setup box, right? If I add it like that and client secret, I can take for it to go. I can write same. I have created one authorization client which is a Laker device. I have created that. Here everything looks same. If we go to advanced, I will select my grant type as device code. I'll select it and I'll save it. This grant type I have selected and this device code. Now I can test this client for the receive the device code information. Let's see what information I can get. I have already as well to create new ones. I use this one. I have this for Stripe. Let me add this all here. I'll use new request. And I'll just copy access token here. But my endpoint is this REMS route. After REMS route, I need to change from access token to this device code. Because I need to obtain the device code. Now for the devices, I'll not use the access token. I'll use device code. Let's see what information we can fetch from here. Device code, and what are the information we need to add here? Device code, a client ID, and message is copy and write. I guess we just need to add the client ID. I have created new client for that. And what are the scope we have for client ID? Now if I check, I request post should be scope, right? Client ID and device code. Now I should receive this information. This post. This all information I have got about the device code, about the user code. What is the device code over here? Interval verification URI complete. When you are expirational, this user or two devices we have added. If I check this detail somewhere, like let me check this one in JVBooty, I mean this detail. See, I received the details. User code was to JTI, payload HTTP02 for this one coming from this one. User code is given its separate user code. I says to end this journey. This all information we're getting from this device code. You are saying user code, it is has been provided. Can all these details? This is where we can create the device authorization grant. You can use the device authorization flow. What I was telling. What was I telling? The refresh tokens, right? We have tested with the access token, right? What the refresh token we use for refresh token is like we access token to expire as well, right? After the particular time they expired, then we need to obtain the new access token, right? Then this refresh token comes in the picture. Because this refresh token help us to get the new access token for the user. Like sometime after idle time, user got logged out or user got re-authenticated, right? Then this refresh token we need to use. This refresh token, because every time whenever the access token generate we should get the refresh token as well, right? Right now, if when we have tested we received only the access token, right, not refresh token. If I test you with the money, any client again. If you see, if I test with the station code for which client I take, let me go to the clients and go to the my client and one. I have added this, I will not use this one. I'll take the fourth client and one. It has only the authorization code, right? Now if I test this one or client with the response type code only, as we have already tested, I just want to show you with all some potential response type or redecorated this one and client or friends. That's fine. It's giving me the allow. I received the correct now. You see, I received the call. And if I give the code over here, like we did it last time on Friday, send it. What happened? I'm seeing. I need to fix that again. They choose. Let me change the client. I'm using that wrong client. This is a, I know why it's in. If you see, getting the only access to, and there is no refresh token over here. Now we need to add a refresh token also when we are receiving the access token. For that, what we need to do, I'll go there and I need to grant a grant type refresh token. I'll say, and now I'll re-authenticate it. I could not read from the CTs. Just a second. I copy. That's fine. Do you want to run this 7 on your setup? Is it easy? And to my app, this one. She just need to use the same client like you were testing the last time. And then add the refresh token. And then get the position code. And then put the code on the postman and get it. You will get the access refresh token with that. Can I go to application? Go to the application and then create this one. That's fine. Create new client. This is the client. This right? Not doing for client. We are doing for refresh token. You can get any new client, any new name. Refresh client, you can see. That's fine. Client secret, you can do for stroke and same reduction. You are in scope, you can add. Client credential is a different type. We just tested right. That one. This is we are doing refresh token. Basically refresh token when if you were ready ask you. Like that there could be a question come like we do. You receive the access token now. How do you get the new access token? I do access to Connect Spy. Like the first question, they were yes, the access token would expire. How do you get the new access token? The answer would be like with the help of refresh token. We can get the access to. First we will receive that. And now we need to, with the access to, can we receive the refresh token as well? And now we give it a use that refresh token will get the new access token. I'll show you the second part, but first we will back to the refresh token with the access token. Don't add the first save changes, don't add the refresh token first, but just get the authorization code and see only. Can I say the changes here? We can see the changes. And then next. Next, to test this client and get the authorization code. Can I take this year? Not this year. You just need to take the client, you have the other. You are right. That we are ready? This is the one right. But you'll be. First you need to get the authorization code, the browser. You are going to a notepad. You need to fetch the authorization code for straight. For that we have to hit the browser. And not, but you know it is postcode UC11. This one you can change your client ID only. Client ID, my client ID is you need to change the client ID to a new one. I guess the refresh client to Can I take the code? The code. And now go to the Postman and fetch the access. Go to the Paham. You forward param parham good param here in parameters. This one you like that. Change and send it. And you change the client as a right way to it, or go to authorization. Go to your organization. You can watch it again. Go to authorization you to change the client name. Access. But just note, yes, you got the access token. Right now we need to add the refresh token with access token. Now go back to the client. Go to advanced. Here I need to add the refresh token. Go to advanced and add the refresh token. Click the save it. Can I go to Postman? Hello, I go to Postman. Can I hit? Go to post. I get that you did. You get the code, new code. No, 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 no. You get the new authorization code. We get the refresh token. Now, next we need to do, we get the refresh token. Now the next question is, how do we get the new access tokens over the purpose of this refresh token? We will use this refresh token to get the access token. For that I need to create one more. Come on, that command. That's a nice. And take a fresh. Now can you get a copy of this one? This is your best. Can create a copy of this request. And I do get this one. Go to the access request. Go to the left in your collection, duplicate. Is cheap. Do one thing, go to your aim collection. Don't do this. Don't go to your aim collection. Create this aim collection. I do see this aim collection at the left. Your access request get a. I create here. Here you will see this. Click on this. You can see a duplicate on this one here. You had a duplicate. And get a duplicate is the name. Can I change the name? Change the name, change the refresh token. You can add post request to the website. Same grant type. You need to use the grant type should be refresh token, maybe the student authorization code, and the refresh type and token. Well, no, 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 I decided not. Trust me too. Which was just asking the question to them with this quick repeat slating and ask to let out their turn. And then code. Now the refresh token, you fetch the do one thing, get the request again. Now you need to add grant type. Wait. You need to add the grant type and then you need to add the refresh token key. Add the key again, write the refresh token. Go to the refresh token. The next parameter would be refresh token again. Here you will add the refresh token. Here we will get the new token. We will fetch it and redirect it. You need to add key. It would be redirect. And then go to authorization. Now do one thing. Go to the authorization right. Give the new one. This is correct. The refresh client. Refresh it in passphrase folder. And then fine. Now do one thing. You need to get the authorization code again. Authorization code. And get the refresh token. We will get the refresh token from here and put the refresh token in new. The API command we created for the refresh token and get the new access token. Can I hit? No, not here. Not. Put the access request. We need to get the refresh token. Go to access request first. Can I put here? Put here. Just request to that. Copy the refresh token from here. Go to the refresh token API now. Now put the refresh token here. Can I hit? After putting it, you can hit add. Click on send. No, not very first. Now there's one issue. with the refresh token is a refresh underscore token. The grant type on both places you need to do refresh underscore token, capital D or small. Anything is fine. That's small. No small d is required. It's a case. Now click on send. Go to show me your URL. Oh, something wrong. It to copy the access to access token from previous URL. Token refresh token. You get the access to. Can now compare the access to consortia. We will be a different access, right? That's how you refresh your access to. Basically, refresh token is we received it with access token, and now this, with the help of this refresh token, we will get the new access to, because access token could be, and if we're going to be expired, right? To refresh it without the user authentication, without user involvement, we can get the new access to, right? That's the purpose of this refresh token. Meanwhile, it turns out in code to that other topics. We need to discuss about now the Micron shareable tokens. We discuss about the access tokens. We discussed about the refresh tokens. Different grant type. We have these other tokens, the Macron's tokens, that are the grant causes, that is shareable. This is also type of be a token like access token, but this is used for the if we need to use one token and for the multiple clients, right? If we need to give the like, you have some like multiple clients and you need to authenticate with a single access to, I suppose, any, and for any requirement comes from one company, like they want to authenticate the users. But these all are the same applications for single domain rights, like my learning applications has like learning application certification application like that, and for that one they need to, but if they do for each application, they get the new access to concert with time consuming, right? And they need to store the tokens and everything. It will be a head attacks. Now what we want to use a single token for all those applications, right, to authenticate the user or client. They have, that comes in picture, this Macron's token, this shareable token. We can use this Macron's tokens to share among the multiple clients to get the user authenticated access. How do we refresh that or class? It runs fine. This one. Here we will go to that. If you go to on your chapter, we will go to the real name searches or to provide it. And then we will enable this access and refresh. And then we will get on the advanced. I will get the Macron token form. I'll show to you once the services, then we will fetch this Macron's token. And we have this class ready for Macron's tokens. When we get this refresh token, then instead of access token, I'll get the Macron's token. I'll show to you the services. And then we have the other step. Now we will, if we need to revolve that token, support like we have a token now which you need to be reworked. We have an endpoint where we can rework the token like. I suppose that we need to set apart something like this. After this time, the token should be revolved. This endpoint we can use to revolve that token. Revolve that token means it will give us in this blank value to rework it. We need to revolve the token, right? And then we need to fetch the token information. Now I'll show you one way to get the token information to go to the JWT. Right now, if we need to get the access token and we need to get this value right. What's token type, what the realm, and what when it's expired, what the client ID. We can use this endpoint, the token info. This is legacy one because this was using from the old point. Now after that, they give us one more to receive the token details. Where we have one more will introspect endpoint. This is a new endpoint they give on which have some more information with the details. We can use the introspect endpoint to receive all this token. These are the different endpoints we basically use to fetch the client details to revolve the token, and also we can all use that. Can I create new one? Or I know it's fine. Go to the over to provider services. What to provide us with this? What's to client? You need to go to services. No services, man, services. Scroll down here. Oh, where are this is services or to provider, correct? And see the second one I write, use Macron access and refresh tokens, right second tab. Yep, click it, select it. and scroll down. And save changes once. And then in the Go to the Advanced tab, scroll down. Let's see the message when we make on token format. Is it selected? Scroll down. Scroll down. Search for Macron. It will be little down. Scroll down. This one is a system Macron token format, and just see that drop down. What I in the drop down. Select the way to keep the selecting v2. This is the latest. And now fetch the authorization code and do the same thing. Fetch the authorization code and get the access token. It's 0 of access token. You should get the Macron's token. Can I fetch the code first? Response. Can I go to Postman? Go to Postman. And then refresh token. Right? And access request. Access request. Put away the authorization code. When we get the authorization code response type, we'll put always on here. I have updated. See, now you can see the change in the format of the access to open write. These are Macron write. This can be used for the multiple application. The same token you could use. Can I take the refresh token? You can try that. Take the refreshed open and do that. You select. You will receive the new access token. This is called Macron token. This is the Macron token format. The same token could be used for the multiple application. We can share among different applications. Can you? Now can you revert the change? This change because we need to test with the normal access token. We want the change we did just for the Macron one just on to provider, not here. I hear you can do that also. But in our two services or two provider service, go to port tab. First I will say I changed the serial. And then we have one more option is the right here. Can I disable this? No, don't disable. We don't need to say it's default one. Go to the now we need to this is also now we need to test that the how to revoke that system, how to remove the extra, how to revoke the access to. We got a token, but sometimes we need to set up something like we need to revoke it as a right. The time is over. We should know the switch endpoint which should work to revoke the token. We'll fetch the token and I'll give you the URL for that one. Let's turn that into the same. And this one create a new Postman request. Can I duplicate this one? You can duplicate that. Post right. Now add the authorization. Can I add one more claim to a claim? And then you can get any. Go to Palm. Once go to Palm. Now you need to add a token, value token, right? Token, only token a grant type. We should have grant type. We need to add a token hearing key because we need to revoke the token. Key would be token only. Then value. Value we will not need to get the token. Do one thing, get that if refresh token, right? Go to your refresh token. No, go to your refresh token. Copy the refresh token value. The second one only value. I find D. I find D. This one. And put value over here. Basically, we need to revoke it. We have to close the token right now. Click on send. Click on send. I am the trial and value. Now we are getting this blank one. It means that now this token has been revoked. It won't be used further. This is how we will revoke that token. If you have practiced all these endpoints right, somebody asked me to do anything regarding the YDC in Forge. I can easily do that. Mainly what is the 2 point, or just go and then implicit, right? Mainly they will use, but you should also knowledge on all these as well. You never well mentor information. I guess it is token info. And I wanted to token info we can use. Practice tomorrow, but I'll go through the topics. We have tested to revoke the token, right? We need to test this token information. We'll test it, I guess, tomorrow, this one, and to receive the token and all. And then we have to custom. One thing about it, we get the token as well, right? Access token. And now how we'll modify the access token, right? We'll test it tomorrow. I'll just show to you today. You'll know this script if somebody asks you to modify the access token, right? How you will modify. For modification, we have this. They have this modification script they are providing, and they have the code as well. We need to use this code. We need to do this. Currently, commenting, will uncomment it. We'll put our field over there, anything like a new employee's contractor, right? We need to add some kind of details in our access token, right? To put this information, we will do through this modification script. This is a kind of a customization part in a Fortune. How do you customize your access token? This is Scrapey will use. This will be update some part of the code over here, and then we will test the access token. We should receive access token with more details, right? I'll show this one tomorrow, or this customer how we can custom this modification script, right? And then we will move to the OpenID Connect, right? What's the OpenID Connect here? I guess to mostly finish. Then we will move to the OIDC. We'll discuss more detailed format on why this is how YDC works, right? What's the purpose of the oath to an OIDC? We'll see the flow. We'll discuss the flow and everything, right? And then we'll test for what are the different tokens on it, or to basically have the refresh token and access token. But when we use the OIDC, we use the ID tokens, returns the ID tokens to the parties, right? You test it once, ID token. It's like this last token we tested, even that is the ID token. Basically, OIDC used or where or to use the refresh token, access token. I'll tell you what's the difference between both. In the interview also, they ask you what's the difference to use the OAuth2 and what's the difference to use the OIDC. Basically, OIDC is built on the top of, OAuth2 is the same part of the O2, but still OIDC basically extend the O2 functionality, right? That you will discuss more on that. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.